Hey guys, it's Tim and this is Wrestling Unlimited as it's Sunday, got the date all messed up, May 26th, 2024, and tonight was AEW Double or Nothing. And I gotta say a couple of things about this show, positive and negative. I will say that I enjoyed this show more than most of the AEW pay-per-views. Like, I've never not enjoyed an AEW pay-per-view. There have been things on AEW pay-per-views I didn't like, or certain little things and whatnot. But this one, I enjoyed most of the show. And usually it's like, well, I enjoyed certain things on AEW pay-per-views. But this one, I could say, I enjoyed a lot of it. And one of the reasons I think that I enjoyed a lot of it is because there was less repetition. And what I mean by that is a lot of times we'll see a big spot in a match, and then like 2 matches later, even the next match, sometimes we'll see the same big spot and you go, oh, I already saw that on this show. So but there's a lot less of that tonight, which is really, really good. The one thing that I saw a lot of people saying, though, is the show was too long. The show was too long. A lot of people have said that tonight. Like, you got to cut it down. You got to cut it down. Eric Bischoff even said that this was one of the longest shows he's ever seen. I mean, I think AEW has probably done longer, if I'm going to be completely honest, to see the show. Main card started at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 45. It was almost a 5-hour show. It was just short of 5 hours. But overall, I thought it was a really good show. I enjoyed my time watching it. Unlike other times where I've, like, even WWE, there's been shows where I was like, that was all right. Or there's most of the AEW shows where it's just like, okay, that, whatever. But this one, I will say, was one of their better shows. Going into it, I was kind of skeptical, but they got me. Now, there are a couple matches on this show that we could have done without, or could have been, we didn't need the pre-show matches. We could have done them somewhere else. Like Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo could have been a Collision main event. The Gates of Agony, or how they said the Cage of Agony, I think is what they called themselves, and they claimed a natty ass, could have been a Collision show match. Could have been a Rampage match. Could have been a Dynamite match. Then you could have moved something else over to the pre-show. Like, you really could have put Bang Bang Gang against the Death Triangle on the pre-show. And maybe I don't want to say it, but maybe Moxley and Takeshita could have been on the pre-show as well. But at least that 6-man tag could have been a pre-show match for sure. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below, or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here for Wrestling Unlimited. Also, remember, head over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button to make sure you know when we post new videos. Make sure you know when we go live, and make sure you know when we post things to the community tab. If you want to support the channel in another way, you can do so by becoming a channel member. Hit that join button to do so. Even if it's just at the $1 tier, we highly, greatly, tremendously appreciate that. Whether that's as a channel member here on YouTube or at patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And finally, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited, at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Fortnite does have their new Wrecked season out right now, which is like a big dystopian land, maybe like a Mad Max inspired season. It's so much fun. It's great. Go check it out. Get the battle pass and use this code. Magneto will be unlocking soon. So you're going to want to get Magneto, and you're going to need the battle pass to get Magneto. But with that, we got a bunch to talk about. 12 matches. Again, a lot of matches. 12 matches did take place on the show tonight, kicking off with the pre-show. First match we did see was Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa. It was a hard-hitting match, but it was just a match. I wouldn't call it anything special. And I felt like, you go on the pay-per-view. Most of the time, the pay-per-view match is supposed to finish off the feud. I feel like this didn't, though. I feel like they're going to keep going with this one. There's just something that felt like it ain't over yet. Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Matt Menard were on commentary for this match, as Rosa's entrance attire has some Elvis flair to it, but also had 21 crosses in a tribute to who lost their lives in Uvalde, Texas, the school shooting in 2022. After an early back and forth between the two, Rosa sent Purrazzo to the outside and followed her with a baseball slide. The crowd was loudly behind Thunder Rosa in this match. Purrazzo tried to create some space, and it worked, as she leveled Thunder Rosa in the face with a big boot. Back inside the ring, Purrazzo worked over the arm and tried to really soften it up before she went for the Venus de Milo. At one point, she kicked Thunder Rosa right in the face. Both ladies eventually did get ahead of steam and collided with a double down, double clothesline kind of deal in the middle of the ring. Crowd was chanting for both of them at this point, "Let's go Thunder Deonna, let's go Thunder Deonna." They both rise to their feet, and it's Rosa who wins the slugfest, leading to a drop kick in the ropes. Purrazzo lured Rosa in, trying to go up top, and hung her up in a tree of woe before hitting a diving shoulder to the midsection for a 2. Rosa then fought back with a Cobra clutch to a discus forearm for a 2. Purrazzo then spun out of a Tejano bomb into a Fujiwara armbar, but Rosa escaped into a backstabber. Rosa then reapplied the Cobra face cross, but as Rosa went to kick away from the ropes to avoid Purrazzo rope break, Purrazzo spun close to the other rope, held onto the ropes to steal the pin. So Deonna Purrazzo does cheat. Hence why I think we may run this one back yet again. So Deonna Purrazzo cheated, but picked up the victory. I guess that's what counts. She won. The next match we do get is the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass against the Cage of Agony, as they are now calling them. Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. Bob Cruz announced the Las Vegas Golden Knights mascot, Chance, to be a ringside. Khan and Caster started off this match. Also, Max Caster kind of did the same rap he did last night. We don't know who the big guys are. And then Anthony Bowens does the Las Vegas! And he's holding the fingers up for the person in the crowd to scissor him. And she doesn't. She puts this little cardboard, I don't even know what it was, in his hand. I'm like, what the? And the whole time when he's trying to get her to scissor him, she's just blank stare. No selling it. I'm like, wow, okay. That was interesting. So where was that? Khan and Caster started off the match. They had a brief back and forth before Gunn tagged in with Cage, and we got a pose down. Cage used his agility to float over into the corner and fire off a snap drop kick as Khan and Leona attacked Bowens and Caster, as everyone kind of spilled to the outside. Leona trapped Bowens' taped up leg between the steps and then threw Gunn into him. This then left Caster in the ring to be triple teamed all by himself, which then led to a backbreaker over the top rope, running senton off the apron, and finally a suplex from the outside by Cage. Going back in the ring and got a 2 off of it. Caster was isolated until finally he was able to get free and made the hot tag to Gunn, who ran wild before hitting a 1 and only on Khan for a 2. There's a Faymaster attempt as well. It was thwarted. As Leona flew in and mowed down Gunn. Caster then jumped off the top and slipped doing so, but got enough of Leona before Khan laid him out with a lung blower. Cage then hit a discus lariat before a triple bomb connected, but Bowens broke up the pin. Cage then grabbed a chair at ringside, but Chance, the mascot, took it away. Caster then cut him off with a Famouser, but Leona ran around and just drove off top of him. Back in the ring, Cage then caught Khan with a flash roll up and got the victory. 1, 2, 3. Post-match, the Acclaim and Gunn and Chance all scissored in the ring. So, fun match. I mean, it wasn't really needed on the pay-per-view. We could have got away with this on a Collision or a Dynamite or even a Rampage. It was just like, okay, cool. It was fun, like I said. Not knocking the match or anything. I think they all worked well together, but it wasn't needed on this show. The main show kicks off. Excalibur welcomes us along Taz, Tony Schiavone, and as he says, unfortunately, Don Callis, who is there for the opening title match this evening as one of his men are in this match. Will Ospreay challenging Roderick Strong for the International Championship. So this was a hell of an opener. I don't know how Will Ospreay ain't dead landed right on the top of his head. Took an unnecessary bump to where he totally botched it. So there's a spot, I'll just say it. There's a spot where he's on the shoulders of, well, let me get to it. Hold on. We'll get to it when we get to it. So Ospreay looked for a hidden blade early on, but Strong kind of, got away from it. Because Khan was posing, or not Khan, Strong was posing, and Ospreay did miss. Ospreay flew outside and quickly disposed of Taven and Bennett. Strong then tried to slam Ospreay on the unprotected barricade, but Ospreay flipped over it onto the Kingdom, brawling with Strong. He was in slingshot back into the ring. Match then officially begins. Ospreay was in control until Strong took the ref, allowing Bennett and Taven to hit a Doomsday Device suicide dive, which didn't look good. It didn't look good. So the ref's distracted. I forget who did what, but Ospreay's on the shoulders of one of them at ringside. The other does a dive out of the ring, and they're supposed to dive and clothesline Ospreay off of the shoulders, but Ospreay just takes the bump before he even connects, well before he even connects, and lands on the top of his head. And this didn't look good, and this was very scary. Ugh. Callis even took his headset off to go check on Ospreay, make sure he was okay. God. I get it. You want to do cool, big spots, but sometimes you're doing the unnecessary spots that could hurt you. Granted, he was not hurt that we know of, but still, why do we need to take these risks every single time? Ospreay then battled back with some hard chops, avoided a strong backbreaker, and then a corkscrew kick. Taven and Bennett again distracted the referee as Wardlow appeared behind Ospreay and was about to powerbomb him when referee Bryce Brenberg stumbled back into them instead of throwing them all out. He just told Wardlow, get to the floor. And I go, the fuck? You're going to see Wardlow in the ring trying, got him for the power bomb, and just say, get out of the ring. No, I'm not going to, just please leave. Come on. Bullshit. Fucking bullshit. So Ospreay hit a cheeky Nando's on Strong and a Sky Twister press onto the entire Kingdom on the outside. It was then that Bryce Remsburg finally ejected Wardlow, Taven, and Bennett as security escorted them out. Back inside the ring, both traded chops, but Ospreay hit a wall walk-in Zaguri into a fisherman's suplex for a 2. Ospreay then tried a leap of faith, but landed on his feet, jamming his knee. Ospreay wanted a hidden blade, but Strong rolled through into a Texas Cloverleaf. The echoes of the chops rung through the MGM Grand Garden Arena from Strong, and it sounded great. As that was followed by a superplex, but Strong held on into a torture rack backbreaker for a 2. Strong then hit the Fireman's Carry Gutbuster, but as he went for the sick kick, Ospreay countered into a powerbomb for a double down. There was a slugfest that got them to their feet as it led to a crazy sequence of counters until Ospreay flattened him and fired off an Os Cutter, but couldn't follow up. For some reason, Bryce wanted to check on Strong and backed Ospreay off into the corner, and I go, what the hell is going on here? So Don then gets off commentary again, and he looks at Ospreay, and he's like, no, what are you doing? Why are you waiting? Attack. Get him. You want to win this match, right? And Will's like, well, yeah. He goes, go. Drop. Just drop him. Drop him. And then Will Ospreay goes into full-on crazy heel mode, attacks Roddy Strong, shoves the referee out of the way, which was weird. Then he goes for the Tiger Driver 91, but hesitated too long. Strong then hit another gutbuster and a sick kick for a close 2. Callison said, "You can't be weak in these moments." Ospreay countered an end of heartache into a Hurricane Rana pin for a 2, but Strong popped up with a knee lift. Strong again went for the end of heartache, but Ospreay landed on his feet. He hit a hidden blade and a Stormbreaker to pick up the win and become the new international champion. Callis kept just yelling, "We won! We won! We won!" as Ospreay celebrated with the fans ringside before going to the back. So, some interesting things here. Don hyping up Will, and then Will going crazy heel mode. I didn't see that at all. That threw me off. But then all of a sudden, he pulls him up for the Tiger Driver 91, and then he drops him back down. He's just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Why can't you do it? Why can't you do it? You kept fighting him anyways. Hidden Blade Stormbreaker, what's the difference? Like, what? Come on. So, that I didn't like. It's like, if you're going to show a moment of weakness and compassion for your opponent, you should lose. That wrestler should end up losing. Because, hey, you showed weakness. Now you just lost yourself the match. Not you showed weakness, but, oh, then you just did all your big moves and won. Like, really? Come on. No. That I didn't like. I didn't really care for that. Plus, the Doomsday device move on the outside was unnecessary. So, good match. Like, great match, I will say. But a couple of things I just didn't care for. And the way they got to the finish with that, you know, I loved Don hyping him up, going, "You want to win this?" Like Don Lewis said, "You want to win this match, right?" And that's when Ospreay's like, "Fuck it." Pushes the referee out of the way, goes, and I'm like, yes, let's go. And then I'm just kind of just like out of it for the rest, and then we get to the finish. So it really pulled me out of the finish. Because I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he not completing the move to win the... And then he just wins the match anyway. So, yeah. It took a great match from up here to here. I still think the match was great, but it drops it closer to just good, if I'm going to be completely honest. Because like I said, the last like 2 minutes of the match, I was just sitting here going, okay, that was dumb. What was that for? And then it just ended. So, yeah. So then, everybody disperses. Everybody disappears. And we hear, "It's all about the boom!" And out comes Adam Cole. Baby. Adam Cole makes his way out to the ring, and I thought, like, the Undisputed Kingdom were back out there, and he was going to belittle them, berate them for Roddy losing the belt or something. But no, none of them were there. I thought he was going to yell at Wardlow, "Your one job is to make sure Roddy keeps his belt, and you failed." I thought it was going to be that. But it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was him all by himself, at least at first. So, Adam Cole's music hits, and he walks down to the ring looking pretty good. As Tony Schiavone called him an ass for dragging the entrance out so long. Cole said, "It's story time with Adam Cole, baby." He told the Vegas crowd, "Oh yeah, in Vegas, you suck." As well, I should be checking on Roddy right now in the back, or hanging out with the Kingdom, since they just got thrown out of the building. Cole said, "Maybe I should be home resting up my ankle so I can get back in the ring to wrestle." As the crowd didn't know really what to think of all this, as he calls himself one of the greatest of this generation. Cole then brought out the devil mask and said he's a little devil inside. There's a little devil inside all of us. Cole said that he's 100%, and you will give the devil his due and his name. The lights go out. When they come back on, a video starts playing. It's up on the screen. We see somebody walking down a hallway. They walk into a room, and the room has all kinds of MJF mementos. All things that are reminiscent of big moments in MJF's career here in AEW. They show him walk in, and there's a hand on like this mantle. He takes the ring off the hand. He then walks over to a mannequin that's got a burgundy coat, like sports coat, and the Burberry scarf. He then goes into the sports coat and pulls out a picture. It's broken. It's ripped in half. It's Adam Cole. He then grabs the other half of the picture, and it's him, and he puts them together, and the crowd goes wild. MJF's music hits. He comes out, and this motherfucker is dressed as Triple H from 2002. This son of a bitch is wearing the leather jacket with a denim vest over it, like Triple H in 2002. So he makes his way down to the ring, and Cole drops the devil mask. MJ looks down at it. Cole wants a hug. MJF obliges immediately, but then punts Adam Cole right in the balls. He then grabs him and connects with the brain buster. They look kind of stiff. MJF then took the mic and called Cole a noodle arm bobblehead son of a bitch. Told security to get this shit stain out of his ring. MJF said that he gave Cole something he had never given anyone before: trust. And that will never happen again. All Cole did was wake MJF up. He's a generational talent, and he's better than you, and you know it. MJF said instead of those schmucks in the back, he doesn't need New Japan or Vince McMahon to make MJF. MJF made MJF. He said no more haha, no more kangaroo kicks, no more bullshit. It's about hate, hate, hate. Get it? Hate, hate, hate. 3 H's, triple H's. He's wearing the jacket. Just saying. He said, when you're driven by hate, no one is safe. MJF picks up the devil mask and said that they're adorned by cowards. Masks, that is. And I'm like, wait, you came back at a Double or Nothing, or whatever. Well, I think it was a Double or Nothing. You came back at a show with that mask on. So were you a coward at that point? That was kind of weird. He then said he's done hiding. So I guess he did call himself a former coward, I guess you could say. Anyways, he said no one is more complete in this sport than MJF. It's not his fault everyone else's favorites suck. A big black donkey dick. He doesn't need a mask to show that no one is on the level of the devil. He said the dumb mask and everything it symbolizes can go to hell. MJF then put the boots to the mask and dropped a Flair-esque little elbow on it. He shimmied and jived. He went from Triple H to Ric Flair in a moment of seconds. He said, well, also, in regards to my contract, if it's not already so obvious, I'm all in. And it's double or nothing. He said, to quote one of the greats, MJF then looks right into the camera and says, zoom in on this. And he pulls his pants up to show a tattoo with the AEW logo on it, and it says bet on the top, yourself on the bottom, and it's the AEW logo on a poker chip. And I said, this son of a bitch. This son of a bitch. Really? I understand him getting the Creator Pro tattoo because that's where he trained and they made him a pro wrestler, but getting the AEW tattoo? Really? Really? To me, a little dumb. Because what if, for some reason, he eventually does want to leave AEW? Or AEW goes out of business, God forbid. And he's got this damn tattoo on him forever. He's got to go WWE wrestling with an AEW tattoo, unless he gets it removed. Anyways, he said when it comes to MJF and AEW, you can call him the Wolf of Wrestling, because he is not fucking leaving. Guy goes wild. As this was a hell of a return promo, I will say. This was great. Other than the reveal of the tattoo, which is kind of corny and cheesy and dumb. Everything else, perfect. Great. Awesome. So, MJF is back. We're to assume he is cleared to go. Adam Cole kind of and didn't say he was 100%, because at one point he said I'm 100%, but then at another point he said I should be home rehabbing and resting my ankle so I can get back in the ring. So I don't know exactly Adam Cole's status, but I assume he's good to go. So we'll see how that all does play out. But MJF is back. He's revealed that he signed a new contract, basically, and that he's not leaving AEW. So, yeah. Cool. We'll see how it goes. This then led to the 6-man tag match, the Unified World Trios Championships. Switchblade, Jay White, and the Guns defending against the Death Triangle, Pac and the Lucha Bros. So White failed, as it looked like it was going to be him and Pac to start things off. but it resulted in the Guns. Also, do got to say, I missed part of this match because I don't know what happened, but the power in my house like flickered where it literally was off and then came right back on. But then everything had to reboot. Peter had to come back on, had to get this back and that, and then find, get my everything. So I missed a little bit of this match, I will say. So if there's anything that I leave out, I apologize. But I did miss some of this because for some weird reason, our power kind of cycled. Literally, it cycled so quickly that the clock on the stove in the kitchen didn't even reset itself to 0. That's how fast everything. And we don't know why. No clue why. Anyways, Lucha Bros made some fast tags early on. There's some offense on Austin and Colton as they tag back in and out as well. And then they suffered the same fate. The Guns were beat up as Austin took a diving double stomp low from Penta before Penta and Phoenix hit double dives outside. I was really wanting to see Phoenix in this match because Phoenix keeps coming back and then boom. Oh, Phoenix is hurt. He can't wrestle. And then he comes back. And then, oh, Phoenix is hurt. So I wanted to see how Phoenix looked in this match. For what I saw, Phoenix looked pretty good. I thought Phoenix looked really good and did a lot in this match. So hopefully he's back and not just, oh, I got him for a match. So White tried to blindside Pac at one point with the Blade Runner, but instead hit a DDT that absolutely spiked Pac violently. Whoop. Wrong button there. Give me 1 second. There we go. Pac remained isolated until Penta made the hot tag, and the Lucha Bros ran wild together. As Phoenix hit a rope walk kick and a splash off his brother's shoulders onto Austin Gunn. Taz said he did the move that Spike Dudley did once in training. White then tagged in and immediately ate a bounce back from Phoenix and a kick and a spinning fireman's carry jackhammer by Penta, and then got pinned almost. There was a 2. Pac then tagged in and dropped White with the bounce back German. But from there, the match kind of broke down and everyone started fighting. And then that's when my power went out. Everyone started fighting. So once I get it back on, the Guns threw in a golden baseball bat, which took referee Rick Knox's attention as Pac went to the top for the Black Arrow, only to be crotched by the returning Juice Robinson. The juice is back. The juice is loose. White then connected with the Blade Runner and pinned him to pick up the victory. I don't know how much or what I really missed there, but yeah, really cool. The juice is back. The full Bang Bang gang is back together. And we'll see how that all does play out. I assume we get Freebird rules with these trios tag titles. And Juice can jump in or jump out or whatever. But yeah, the Guns and Jay White do retain the Unified World Trios Championships. Also, we got Esports Gaming Rules with a bit donation on Twitch. He says, how long will Monet is going to enjoy the TK money before possibly Becky Lynch becomes the highest paid woman pro wrestler in any company and in pro wrestling history? Well, that doesn't mean anything right now. She's getting paid what she's getting paid. If WWE goes and pays Becky more than that, there's nothing she can do about it. She's on a contract, and unless Tony's like, I'll pay you more and for no reason, cool. But that's not how business works. You can't just go, that woman in that company's now making more than me, so I need to be making more than her. What does she think she is, Hulk Hogan? WCW? Who always had to be making $1 more than the next highest paid wrestler? Literally. Anyways, it has nothing to do with anything, to be completely honest. She's got to work out the contract. And then once that contract's up, they can negotiate for her to maybe get more money. But right now, she's under a whatever deal. Apparently, she said she was signed in January. She said during the press conference, the Scrum. So, yeah, that has nothing to do with nothing. Whatever Becky gets on this new deal with WWE, which I assume she signs, we don't know for sure. But whatever Becky gets on this new deal is what Becky's going to get. It's going to have no qualms on Mercedes. And if she's making more than Mercedes, good on her. Mercedes can't do anything about it. And if she can, and Tony just says, yeah, I'll pay you more for the hell of it, then Tony is a bad businessman. She's got a contract that says I'm making X amount of money for X amount of years. And so if that's the case, then the company shouldn't have to give her more money till that X amount of years is up. And then they evaluate, well, were you worth that? Are you actually worth less, or are you worth more? So see how it all just play out. But as of right now, whatever Becky gets in her new deal, if it's more than Mercedes, has nothing, no bearings, no no anything on Mercedes. As we move forward, we had Timeless Toni Storm against Serena Deeb with the AEW Women's World Championship on the line. And I'll say, the crowd wasn't really into the first half of this match and didn't really react to much of Serena Deeb. They liked Toni Storm, especially towards the end. But I will say, crowd really kind of just didn't care. So Nigel joined commentary for this match. And there's references to Greta Garbo in describing Storm. But Excalibur hilariously thinks that he made a Gabo name drop, a character who appeared once on The Simpsons. Steve then tied up Storm early on into Paradise Lock and drop-kicked Storm to break the hold. Storm then fought back by sending Deeb to the apron and leveling her with a hip attack to the floor. Back inside the ring, Storm's leg was caught in the ropes, and Deeb hit a neck breaker on the outside before going back into the ring and getting a 2 off of it. There was a flying octopus hold at one point applied as well, and Luther got the crowd behind Storm. Eventually did get to the rope break by biting the ropes with her mouth. I said that right. Biting the ropes. Deeb then zoned in on the left leg. Storm then dodged the dragon screw, but Deeb disoriented Storm with a spinning backslide and got a 2 off of it. Storm popped back up and fired off a headbutt. Both ladies collapsed for a double down spot. Storm at one point did hit a backstabber in the corner and a fisherman suplex for a near fall as she wanted to go for the choke bomb, but Deeb countered into a triangle choke. Storm then slammed free and sank in a cloverleaf. After there was a little break from that, both ladies then slugged it out, with Deeb winning the exchange with a flying clothesline. There's a neck breaker through the ropes that connected, but after a series of counters, there was a spinning neck breaker again, more reversals until a bounce back German led to a wrist clutch lariat for a 2. Deeb then kind of toyed with Storm for a little while, and we got another striking exchange before a miscommunication led to a Storm choke bomb for a 2. Deeb then dodged the Sweet Cheek Music into a single leg crab, slammed the knee down repeatedly, and Mariah May was thinking, oh no, I may need to throw in the towel. Luther stopped her. Now remember the significance of this. Deeb did the same thing to Mariah May, and Toni threw in the towel. Mariah's thinking, oh no, oh no, oh no, I might need to do to Toni what Toni did to me, throw the towel in, and Luther's like, you're not throwing this towel in, so they're fighting over this towel. They're fighting back and forth over this towel. I thought what was going to happen was they're fighting over the towel, and then it's going to get thrown up, it's going to land in the ring, and the ref thinks they're throwing in the towel. But eventually Luther pulls the towel away from Mariah, and he's like, we're not doing this. So then the two women fight to the outside, and when they get up, Storm sees the towel in Luther's hand and yells at Luther because she thought he was going to do it. She literally called him a bastard. I think they threw the towel in the crowd. Back inside the ring, Storm hit a snap German suplex, but Deeb flipped Storm off, who ultimately hit a Storm Zero for a close 2. Storm then wanted one on the apron, but her knee gave out and Deeb hit a Deeb Tox on the apron and a proper one back in the ring for a super close 2, but Storm does kick out, which popped the crowd. Both ladies that went to the corner and up the ropes. Storm hit an avalanche Storm Zero and a proper one to pick up the victory. Toni Storm remains your AEW Women's World Champion. Storm then celebrated and rolled around in confetti on the stage with Mariah May in post-match. So she doesn't know that Mariah almost screwed her. Again, we're getting closer and closer every match, every week, every month to that Mariah-Toni match. So, going forward, we had Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta. Don Callis joined commentary because he is an Orange Cassidy guy. But as we learn later in his promo, he may not be a Orange Cassidy guy. We'll talk about that here shortly. Ooh, got something in my eye. That was weird. I started watering and then I wiped and got something in it or something. We're good though. We're good though. So Beretta has a new remix of the Best Friends music, which actually sounded pretty cool. Cassidy then walked out, and then to Jane, and then also in his old music, the Pixies, Where's My Mind starts playing, and the crowd loved it. So he gets in the ring, and they both start slugging it out right at the bell as Cassidy sent Beretta back and forth on the turnbuckle with turnbuckle shots before a spinning DDT sent Beretta to the floor. There was an elbow suicida that followed. Cassidy then kept up the attack around ringside, but breaking the count, allowing Beretta to gouge the eyes and target the throat. Beretta stayed in control with a series of suplexes as Cassidy slowly put his hands in his pockets, which only infuriated Trent. Cassidy then fought back with some drop kicks before some little kicks ramped up in the corner. Cassidy nearly ran through referee Bryce Remsburg as he drop kicked Beretta in the face. Beretta then tried to bail on the apron as he suckered Cassidy in trying to go for a dive, but he was caught and dropped by a gotcha-style pile driver on the edge of the ring. Beretta then tried to use the ring steps, but Cassidy swept the leg out from under him, and then he hit a beach break on the floor. Back in the ring, both men were in there, and Cassidy faked a hug and then hit a Michinoku driver for a 2. There's a series of counters that showed how well they know each other, as Beretta hit a half and half and a strong 0 for a 2. Beretta then mocked the hug and ran right into a beach break as Cassidy wanted the orange punch, but ran into a go-go plata. Cassidy then used the bottom rope to float over and get a flash victory. So another just quick flash win for Orange Cassidy. So Don Callis is happy, and afterwards, Beretta goes to leave all pissed off. Now comes Rocky Romero and Renee Young, or Paquette. Still want to call her Young sometimes. Renee Paquette. Rocky's like, hey, what's going on? Where does this leave us? Renee said, do you have any thoughts, any comments? And he's like, I'm going to do my own thing. And he shoves Rocky and leaves through the crowd. So it's interesting. Very interesting. Then we have the FTW title, the For the World Championship, a triple threat, Chris Jericho, Hook, and Katsuyori Shibata. I'm just going to say, I wasn't a fan of this one. It was okay, but I didn't think this match was all that great. It was just a lot of stuff going on. Now, not to compare this to WWE, we saw a triple threat for a title yesterday on the King and Queen of the Ring show. Granted, 2 different kinds of matches. That was a straight up triple threat match. This was more of a hardcore triple threat match, but I thought the one yesterday with Sammy, Bronson, and Chad was better. Again, not to compare or anything. This match was like, it's either you like these matches or you don't like these matches. There's almost no in between. And if there is, it's like the slightest in between. That I think is where I was. Like, I didn't hate the match, but I kind of got bored with it, if I'm going to be honest. So Hook and Shibata briefly took turns kicking Jericho's ass to start things off before Hook hit a release German suplex on Shibata before setting up a table at ringside. Hook wanted a T-bone off the apron on Jericho, but Shibata booted both men to the floor. Jericho then brought a bag from under the ring. And instead of tacks or hockey pucks, it was dice, because they're in Vegas. Jericho then properly got suplexed onto the dice, and Shibata and Hook chucked dice at Jericho, hitting a back suplex on them, but also folding Jericho up on his neck. Hook and Shibata then took turns suplexing each other on the dice as the match kind of reset. And I'm like, ooh, that's gotta hurt. That's not feeling good. Hook and Shibata then got kendo sticks from under the ring, but Jericho reappears with one of his own. Hook and Shibata no-sells kendo stick shots from Jericho, and then they light Jericho up with shots of their own. Shibata then dropped Hook and brought a table into the ring, as during this, Nigel McGuinness compared Jericho to a modern-day Lionel Richie. He said the For the World title is just like Farm Aid. Like, okay. Jericho was set up on the table, and Shibata tried an avalanche Death Valley driver on Hook, though Jericho threw Jericho and the table, but overshot, and Shibata nearly landed on his head in the process. This did not look good. I was scared. The table also didn't really break. Like, he barely got him, so it's like, of course it's not going to break. But eventually, Shibata chucked Jericho through it. Table did break, and then he followed this up with a stalling dropkick for a 2. Shibata then shot a double leg on Jericho and applied a Muda lock, while also having an ankle lock on Hook. Now, this spot was cool. This looked cool. With the dice still scattered around the ring, though, Jericho hit a code breaker on Hook for a 2. Hook then dodged the Judas effect and sank in a red rum. But Big Bill would run out and hit an elbow on Hook to break it up. Remember, no rules. Bill then brought Hook to the apron and wanted to choke slam him through the table, but instead, Hook hit a T-bone suplex off the apron through the table to Big Bill. The legs of the table damn near impaled Big Bill. Another scary spot there. Back in the ring, Shibata locked in a figure 4, but Hook applied a red rum at the same time. Call back to last week. There was a masked man that jumped into the ring. Commentary had no clue who it was. They literally said, "We've never seen that mask before." And he hit a senton. Hook was then taken out with a Judas effect, and the masked man would take off his mask to reveal it's the bounty hunter, Brian Keith. And I think it was Nigel that said, "Oh, Jericho's hired himself a bounty hunter." Jericho would then go on to pin Shibata, who was still covered in a trash can, to pick up the victory. Post-match, Jericho demanded security save him from Hook, who wiped them out before storming to the back. So yeah, again, match really wasn't for me. There was one or two cool spots, but other than that, meh. Then the Brian Keith thing. Brian Keith is now in the learning tree. Okay. I guess. I don't know. Brian Keith just doesn't feel like a big enough name to be in a Jericho group right now. But I guess that's what the Jericho group is supposed to be. Elevating younger, newer stars. So then we had an IWGP title eliminator. Why wasn't the title on the line here? Moxley won anyways, so what the shit? Also, interestingly in this match, how Will Ospreay listened to Don Callis, sort of. Takeshita kind of didn't listen to Don Callis. So is there some tension in the Don Callis family? We shall see. So Takeshita immediately zoned in on the heavily wrapped arm and shoulder of Moxley. Moxley tried responding, but Takeshita answered with the Takeshita line to stay in control. There's a hammerlock slam that led to Takeshita playing to the crowd too long, and Moxley exploded up and tried to go for a pile driver on the apron, but Takeshita violently slammed Moxley down on the edge of the ring instead. Callis then whispered that he thinks Moxley's arm is broken because he landed pretty badly. Takeshita then pinned Moxley's arm in a chair and booted it against the railing, and I go, oh, when did this match become no disqualification? Takeshita then once again slammed Moxley into the steps and finally got back into the ring. Moxley fought back with a good arm. Takeshita no-sold and crumbled Moxley with a forearm. It was a brainbuster that connected as Moxley started waking up and absorbing multiple shots. Moxley sidestepped a charge into a cutter, and the match kind of reset from here. Takeshita spun out of a pile driver attempt to do an arm breaker, but Moxley countered into a triangle. Takeshita then raked to the eyes and hit a powerbomb into another arm bar, but Moxley got to the ropes. Takeshita argued with the referee, which was long enough for Moxley to send him to the outside with a dive. Back inside the ring, Takeshita tried to charge at Moxley, but ran into a King Kong lariat instead. Takeshita spun out of a paradigm shift and hit a Storm Zero into a wheelbarrow German as he went for a power drive knee. Moxley met him with a desperation paradigm shift. Both started striking their way to their feet, and Moxley collapsed from a forearm. Takeshita connected with the power drive knee, but Moxley kicked out at 2. Moxley dodged a home run forearm and sank in a bulldog choke. He wanted to go for the Death Rider, but his arm gave out. Takeshita then posted him and hit a home run forearm. A Death Rider then spiked Moxley, and well, super close too, and commentary lost their minds going, he hit him with a Death Rider! He hit him with a Death Rider! Callison signaled this is the end as Takeshita threw chairs in from under the ring. Rick Knox proceeded to toss them out, but as his back was turned, it allowed Moxley to hit a curb stomp on a chair, followed by a Death Rider for the victory. So, cool. Again, good match, but it's like, it was just there. It was nothing special. This match could have been on a Dynamite. Could have been, I wouldn't say a pre-show, because we know that if you put a match on a pre-show, then that means those wrestlers are at a certain level and that match is at a certain level. But I would have main evented a Dynamite with this. I don't think it needed to be on the pay-per-view at all. Good match, but it just was whatever. What wasn't just whatever, it was a barbaric Barbwire Steel Cage match. Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. Malachi Black makes his way to the ring. He's in the ring, and South of Heaven by Slayer begins to play as Copeland rises up the stage in a ring of fire from hell. New graphics are on the screen that say The Brood, along with a new Brood t-shirt that is now available on shopaew.com. So they get in the ring and both men start swinging chairs right away. The ring is full of weapons. There's barbed wire hanging from all sides of the ring, all around the top of the ring as well. So Black wanted the end to kick, but Copeland dodged and grabbed some barbed wire. Black tried to powerbomb out of the corner, and Copeland raked the barbed wire across the face of Black, busting Black open immediately. Like not even 2 minutes into this match, Black's already bleeding. Black then looked for the end again, and Copeland hit an impaler DDT. Copeland then charged for a corner spear, but landed in the ropes. Had his legs swept, and then he came face first into the barbed wire, busting him open as well. There were dueling chants. Let's go Copeland Malachi. Let's go Copeland Malachi. As Black hit a high kick before grabbing a barbed wire bat hanging off the cage, Black then raked it across the head before trying a concerto. He did it with the bat. Copeland dodged and smacked Black in the ribs with the bat. Copeland then returned the favor and raked the bat across the head of Malachi before placing him on a table. Copeland climbed to the top, but Black kicked the legs out and he crotched him. Black managed to hit a sunset flip powerbomb through the table and then the end for the third time, but Copeland countered into a spear for a 2. Copeland then set up for another table spot with Black on the table, this time wrapping him up in the barbed wire in the process. Copeland climbed to the top of the cage. Took too long, but then eventually hit an elbow through the table. It almost looked like Copeland blew out his knee, but thankfully he kept on going. So Black barely kicked out at 2. Copeland charged for a spear. Black then finally hit the end, only for Copeland to kick out. Black pulled out a spool of barbed wire and tried to stab Copeland with it, but he was unsuccessful. Copeland then was placed against the cage, and Black kicked him through it to the floor as Black went out after Copeland. And I go, what the fuck are we doing here? Cage match where you're fighting outside the cage? Come on. What's the need for the cage? Really? This pulled me away for a minute. I was just like, why are we fighting on the outside? It's a fucking cage match. So you can't lock the door? Lock the fucking door, referee. Anyways. Where was I? Copeland at one point hit a desperation spear on the outside. Both men are down, and this is when the House of Black come out, Brody King and Buddy Matthews. They walk to the ring and act like they were going to side with Copeland. They basically played up the Judgment Day turning on Adam Copeland spot, where you think Judgment Day are aligned with Adam Copeland, Edge, but then they turn on him to join Finn Balor, and they made you think they were doing that tonight. It almost got me, I will be honest. I go, whoa, turning on Malik? Never mind. Brody then clotheslines Copeland. So I'm like, never mind. But I thought it was a clever spot. This is a callback to another dark time in Copeland's career. Everyone got back in the ring, and I mean everyone. And I go, oh, fuck me running. Why? Why is it a cage match then? God damn it. Black placed Copeland's wedding ring around his neck on a necklace. Copeland had a crown of barbed wire on his head when the lights would go out and then start flashing red. And everyone knew it was about to happen here. Like everybody knew. Matthews and King then appeared to be misted as all of a sudden Gangrel came up through the floor. And the one reason we knew for sure this was Gangrel, because Adam Copeland recently did an interview and stated, you know, at WrestleMania 39, where I wrestled Finn, I pitched Gangrel coming out and being there with me and helping me. Ultimately, WWE shot it down, saying they didn't think it was a good idea. So when he said that in an interview this past week, I go, well, fuck, Gangrel's going to be a double or nothing. And surely he was. And he looked great. Gangrel hit some mighty fine impaler DDTs, like some fucking grade A impaler DDTs, almost better than Copeland does. Gangrel appears in the ring. And he starts just handing out DDTs. The impalers, and not just like dropping them down. He's jumping and lifting and pulling and driving. Like he's doing the whole thing, the whole up, down, pull him in. Like, God damn, Gangrel. So Where was I? Gangrel hit Baylor DDTs on Matthews as Black decked him with a knee. Copeland then flew in with the spear before wrapping the barbed wire crown around the face of Black and then trapped him in a crossface. Black faded and went out cold. Copeland retains, and there we go. So Copeland retains the TNT Championship against Malachi Black. Copeland then ripped his wedding ring off the neck of Black as Gangrel smiled, hugged him, and the House of Black retreated. Wasn't a bad match. I would say it was really fun. But, again, the stuff where they're fighting on the outside and then all of the House of Black gets in the ring, I could do without that. Now, Gangrel coming up from under the ring, sure, that makes a little sense. He came up from under the ring. He didn't walk in the door like the other fuckers. So, that's the one takeaway that I have here. It was a good match that was kind of overbooked a little bit. It took me out of it a couple times. We're in the back with Lexi Nair. She's interviewing Don Callis. And you really have to listen to Don's words here. So Don says that tonight was, well, a mixed bag for the family. But brighter days are ahead of us. And he saw something in the Orange Cassidy Trent Beretta match. And he said, you want a scoop? I'm going to give you a scoop. This Wednesday from sunny Los Angeles on Dynamite, I'm going to offer a contract. Somebody to join the Don Callis family. Now think about that. He didn't say I'm offering Orange Cassidy a contract. He said I'm offering a contract. I'm presenting a contract for the Don Callis family. So for all we know, we're supposed to think he's recruiting Orange. I think in the end it's going to be Trent. Trent joining the Don Callis family. Lance says Don Callis is annoying. That's the point. He's supposed to be annoying on purpose. So from here, we go to our first of our triple main events. With the TBS Championship on the line, it's Mercedes Moné challenging Willow Nightingale. And there's more to this match than just the match. There's a big post-match angle as well. So, Mercedes comes out, and she's got a marching band. She's got these girls with her and everything. And her music's playing, and the music is doing the chant, CEO, CEO, CEO. And when the music stops chanting CEO, we hear that nobody in the building is chanting CEO. And they're not even really fully reacting to Mercedes, which is not good. So Mercedes gets up on the apron. She does her little thing, her shimmy shake, gets in the ring. Crowd kind of cheers for her. And I think it was, hold on. I want to properly credit this tweet. It was where is it now? Give me 1 second. Zach Hayden said Mercedes Moné's with a huge star entrance, crowd reacts positively to her. And I said, yeah, positively is a good way to put this. They didn't react big or huge or anything. They didn't react to her like a big star. They made her look like one with the entrance, but then the crowd reaction wasn't like that of a big star. But at least they didn't boo or they didn't just whatever. She got some cheers. So as Zach said, they reacted positively to Mercedes Moné. So anyways, as far as the match does go, also there was a video they played before that they tried to compare Mercedes to both Serena Williams and what's her name? Simone Biles. I'm like, what? Anywho, also the drums they were using with the flashing lights and the drumstick stuff, I've done that before. We did that in high school, where we got the idea because we all went to Disneyland for a concert. Basically, a bunch of, at least I don't know if there was any schools from not in California, but schools went down to Los Angeles, Anaheim, and we all actually performed at the Disney Concert Hall. And with that, then, we were presenting awards afterwards for the bands that did the best and this and that at Disneyland. And when we were there, all of us that were on the drum line saw that Disneyland has these drumsticks that are clear. But when you play with them and hit them, they light up different colors. So we all tried to get different colors. There's blue, there's orange, there's red, there's yellow, there's pink, there's purple, whatever. We all tried to get different colors. I ended up with orange. And then, we thought, we're playing with, these light up drumsticks, and we turn the lights off in the band room and practice with them. We got a routine going. We thought, how can we make the drum sets light up? Now, we couldn't figure out a way, and we didn't have clear snare drums. We didn't have clear bass drums or anything. But what we ended up doing instead was we took this regular Christmas lights and lined the drum heads with them. And so our drumsticks flashed, but then the rims of the drums were all lit up already. So that way, when we turned the lights out for our concert we did, for the it was our end of the year concert, the drums were all lit up. And then it was cool because then the sticks were flashing. So that was really cool. So we did that in high school. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, I like the way they did it with the clear drums. We didn't have those. We had pearls, and they were all white and chrome. So we had to do what we had. Anywho, as far as the match does go, Hathaway, Statlander, ringside. Remember that. So where was I? Nightingale charges at Monet at the bell, and she runs away. She then gets a cheap shot as there's loud dually chants for both women. Mercedes then again ran away, suckered Nightingale into a chase, and hit a step-up knee back inside. Monet with multiple arm drags as Nightingale no-sells the strikes. Stopped a third arm drag and a waffled Mercedes. Both ladies then missed the dives to the floor as Nightingale dodged a baseball slide and hit a gut-wrench powerbomb on the edge of the apron. Back inside the ring, she almost hit a Croft's Wrath and folded Mercedes up in the process. Nightingale then wanted an avalanche powerbomb, but Mercedes swept the legs and chop blocked her. Monet then got a leg lock as both ladies traded some slaps, but Monet kept on the leg. There's a backstabber that got a near fall for Mercedes as Nightingale countered an abdominal stretch into an ankle lock. Monet then rolled out, charged, and Nightingale launched her with a pounce. Monet then fought out of the corner and dove off the second rope, but Nightingale planted her with a spinebuster for a 2. Nightingale used her power to remain in control until both ladies scaled the ropes and Mercedes slipped out into a powerbomb and got her for a 2. Nightingale then rolled to the apron and Monet tried a double stomp, but Nightingale moved and hit a knee breaker on the edge of the ring. There's an inverted cloverleaf into a giant swing briefly, and it was a great little visual here as Nightingale hit a DVD in the corner, but missed on the follow-up senton. Monet again stomped at the leg and hit a Meteora for the second 2. Nightingale then rolled outside where Monet hit another Meteora. Statlander cheered Nightingale on, but got shoved in the process. Hathaway argued with referee Aubrey Edwards as Nightingale vastly had the pin off of a Dr. Bomb. Hathaway and Statlander then realized they were costing Will the match, so they jumped off the apron. Well, Statlander jumped off the apron. No, Stokely jumped off the apron. Statlander's like, hey, Stokely, what are you doing? And so she went for the Dr. Bomb again, but Mercedes countered it into a crossface, transitioned that into an STF, but Willow got to the ropes. Mercedes then flipped out of the corner and managed to get Nightingale up enough to hit a money maker, and get the pin right on Willow. Pinned her clean in the middle of the ring to become the new AEW TBS champion. Do we call it AEW TBS champion or just TBS champion? I don't know. But Mercedes wins. It's her first match in the company, and she's the champ. So she leaves with her belt, and Statlander is consoling Nightingale. They're pissed at Stokely. They yell at him for a second, and Statlander shoves Stokely in the ring. So her and Willow go to leave up the ramp, and all of a sudden, she turns on Willow. He lays her out, takes off the friendship bracelet. It's a discus clothesline. Statlander. We then see Stokely on the apron. Big old Stokely smile. He then walks over as Stat flexes, and then Stokely kisses her muscle, kind of puts his head up on it, and they're standing over a fallen Willow Nightingale. So it looks like Statlander is now a heel, which maybe means she's going to go with Trent as a heel. I don't know. Maybe. And Stokely's doing whatever with her as well. So there we go. So I don't know what you guys thought, but I thought Mercedes just looked okay. Mercedes didn't look like anything special. She didn't look like the greatest woman there is. She didn't look like the best female wrestler in the world. I feel like there's better than her. I feel like Becky's a better wrestler. I feel like Charlotte's a better wrestler. Shit, I feel like Rhea Ripley is a better wrestler. Bianca Belair is a better wrestler than Mercedes Moné was tonight. So we'll see. She hadn't wrestled in a year, so maybe there was a little ring rust. Got to give her time. Again, she's been out for so long. You can't just fully judge this one match. So we'll see how her next few matches go. But as of tonight, she didn't blow the doors off of it for me. She was just as good as any other woman in that company. They played it up as she's better than the rest. She's the tippity top. And honestly, her and Willow are just about the same. I would say, from a wrestling standpoint, again, you guys know I'm not a big fan of the Toni Storm character. From a wrestling standpoint, she is not Toni Storm. Toni Storm is going to wrestle circles around Mercedes Moné. Espinosa says Bianca did beat her. It's scripted wrestling, goddammit. You can't be like, well, Bianca's a better wrestler and she beat her. What is this, UFC? It's scripted wrestling. That means nothing. Oh, Bianca beat her. Okay, cool. Because at that time, Vince booked Bianca to win. Not because, granted, I just said it, Bianca's the better wrestler, but she didn't win because she's the better wrestler. She won because on that night, that is what the paper said. Bianca Belair over Sasha Banks. So then, speaking of the AEW Women's World Championship, we move right into another world title match. It's Swerve Strickland versus Christian Cage. I'm just going to say it. Too much outside interference. God damn. This company loves their outside interference in world title matches, nonetheless. The video package is shown for Swerve Strickland before his entrance, which then sees Prince Nana walking out with some bottles and he's clanking them together. He's like, Swerve, come out and play. Clink, 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 clink. Swerve, come out and play. It's supposed to be from the Warriors. As Strickland walks out with gear inspired from the movie. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, go see the Warriors. Warriors is great. The video game that they made recently in the last couple of years based off the movie was okay. Movie's great. Game is all right. Looked over, talked about the hell the Warriors went through to get home. Strickland had to go through hell for weeks to get this moment. Taz mentioned how old of a movie reference that is, but loved it. For having such an intense build to this match, we started with a long delay before a lockup and headlock, which felt kind of odd. Crowd was quiet early on as well, except for the whose house? Swerve's house. Whose house? Swerve's house. Whose house? Swerve's house. So Cage countered a rolling suplex into a neck breaker, but missed a follow-up headbutt off the top. Strickland then wanted a submission, but Cage bailed to regroup. Cage then suckered Strickland in and hit a dive to the floor, trying a dive to the floor, where he sidestepped and Strickland crashed into the barricade. Back inside the ring, Cage kept Strickland grounded as Nick Wayne tried to go for a cheap shot for good measure. Strickland reversed a whip, and Cage took a hard corner buckle bump. Cage then tried to explode out with a spear, but Strickland connected with a powerbomb into a spinning power slam for a 2. Both traded straight right hands as Strickland starts putting his things together, and he pulls Cage's turtleneck over his head and hits a neck breaker through the ropes. Taz said Cage looked like Kenny from South Park. I laughed really hard at that one because I literally just watched the new South Park special on Paramount Plus yesterday. Shivani made a Cornholio reference, Beavis and Butthead, Mike Judge, which is hysterical. As this happened, Strickland connected with the Fosbury flop to the outside. Strickland then winked at Mother Wayne, but they missed a house call, allowing Cage to sink in a sharpshooter. Strickland then fought out, but both men clonked heads. Mother Wayne then grabbed the title belt, but Nana took it from her. Nick then showed the ref and Nana was caught with the belt in his hands. And so the ref said, "Oh, you're going to try and cheat? You're out of here." Cage then threw Strickland to the floor and took the ref as kill switch. And Nick Wayne attacked before Cage tried picking up the pieces, but only got a 2 off of it. Mother Wayne then took the referee this time as kill switch tried a headbutt, but hit Cage instead. Nick was then dropped off of a big-time back body drop to the floor as Cage dodged a swerve stomp in the ring and hit a spear for a 2. Nick then took the ref, again, look, all this goddamn interference, as kill switch was about to interfere again, but the ref actually caught him and injected all of them. He's like, you, and even you are out of here. I think it was Taz goes, "Not Mother Wayne." Giovanni somehow managed an Engelbert Humperdinck reference as well. And Strickland connected with a rolling flatliner for a 2 as Cage rolled outside and tried to set up the ring steps, but Strickland was waiting for him. Cage then raked the eyes and wanted a power bomb off the apron, but Strickland caved his chest in with a double stomp. Strickland then tried a spear through the ropes, but Cage sidestepped and Strickland smacked the steps. WWE's Twitter then sent, this is great. So yesterday, or this morning, maybe 16 hours ago, WWE posted a video, top 10 like steel step bumps or whatever. And so when Swerve takes this bump on the steps from Christian, literally they go, "Hey, check out this video on our YouTube channel of steel stair bumps." And the video, the thumbnail is, and I want to get this correct really fast. Hold on. And granted, this all happened. It's a happy coincidence. This all was posted before the night, but it was just funny because the picture is Christian taking an RKO on the steel steps. So I thought that was very clever by the WWE social team. Where was I? Cage tried taking off the top turnbuckle pad with the ref's attention turned. Nick Wayne then came out of nowhere and flew in with an Os cutter and then threw Swerve back in the ring. Cage then hit a kill switch, but only got 2 off of it. Prince Nana then runs down with this big ass pipe, and he's just like, "Nah!" Nick Wayne jumps the barricade. Nana jumps the barricade, swinging the pipe around, and they're like, "Does Nana have a big old pipe?" So he chases Nick Wayne out. Cage then cleared the Spanish announce table. Cage wanted a kill switch, but Strickland exploded with a swerve stomp. Both beat the count, and they got back into the ring. They traded some runs and some shots. Cage then wanted another spear, but Strickland hit a house call out of midair. Great visual here. This then led to a swerve stomp, and I'm going to say it. Swerve stomps towards the end of a match are always the worst looking fucking move. The worst. Because towards the end of the match, Swerve is always taking his time to get to the ropes. So the wrestler, who you would think is supposed to just be laying there knocked out for Swerve to hit the double stomp on him, no, is literally sitting up, holding themselves up. So they look like stupid asses for holding themselves there, just waiting and waiting when they could move. Get out the way. Bitch, get out the way. But no, they just sit there and go, "Stomp on me. Get me." So I think the swerve stomp is not, in my opinion, a great move for a finish of the match. At least the way they usually do it, where Swerve takes his time, he's all hurt, he's like, "I'm getting to the top rope," and the wrestler on the floor just got to wait there like a dum-dum, like an idiot. We used to say this before about Alberto Del Rio and his double stomp, where literally the wrestler taking the double stomp is got to hold themselves up in the corner on the ropes and hold themselves there when you can literally just let go, flop down, and then he misses. I don't know. Anyways, he hits the swerve stomp, and he picks up the victory. So he retains the AEW World Championship. Post-match, Strickland then celebrates with Floyd Mayweather at ringside and Q from Impractical Jokers. And at first, I didn't even know that was Floyd Mayweather at first. I was like, wait, what is that? What? But yeah, Floyd freaking Mayweather. AEW pay-per-view. Because at first he was like, "Yeah, Swerve," and he's like looking sideways and stuff. And I'm like, "Who is that?" And then he turns and I go, "Holy crap, is that Mayweather?" So yeah. And then you got Q from Impractical Jokers there as well. He's like, "Yeah, my boy, my guy." So very cool. Very, very cool. Whoever retains, and we see where we go from here. Also, forgot to mention, we got some news on the pre-show. Renee Paquette is on the ramp, on the stage, and she goes, "We have a huge announcement. And to help make this big announcement, I want to bring out Dr. Martha Hart and the president of All Elite Wrestling, Tony Khan." Martha Hart and Tony Khan come out. And they talk about the Owen Hart Foundation has been around for 25 years. This year will be the 3rd year of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup. They want to do something big this year. They want to do something big for the winners. She says, "Tony, I'll let you make this announcement." So, Tony Khan then announces that the winners of the Owen Hart Cup will be getting championship matches at All In. But before that, he has to tell us, I was talking to Dr. Martha Hart on Christmas Eve, and she came up with such a great idea for the winners. He had to tell us that they came up with this idea on Christmas Eve, that the winners of this tournament should get title shots at the pay-per-view in August. What a coincidence. Who else just recently announced that the winners of their tournament will be getting title shots at their big pay-per-view in August? Oh, Triple H! Don't fucking tell me. We came up with this idea. Dr. Martha Hart came up with this idea on Christmas Eve. No! You're fucking copying Triple H with the King and Queen of the Ring. The winners will get title shots at All In. So the winner of the men's bracket will face the world champion, and the winner of the women's bracket will face the women's world champion. Don't fucking play me dumb and say, "We've had this idea since," and I'll do it like Tony Khan. "We've had this idea since New Year's Eve." That's how he talks to the crowd. He said, "The winners of the tournament of the Owen Cup will each get world title shots at All In." Because this man can't talk normal on a microphone. He's got to do the voice. He's got to do the voice. But yeah. They also do announce that the finals will be taking place, I want to say July 10th on Dynamite. On Dynamite, because that's when they're going to be in Calgary. They officially announced, I can go to it right here. The finals of the tournament will be taking place on July 10th in Calgary at the Scotiabank Saddle Dome during Calgary Stampede. They didn't tell us when the tournament begins. They didn't give us no brackets, no nothing. They just gave us when the finals are going to be, and that the winners will face the world champion and the women's world champion at All In London. But listen, Tony Khan, we ain't dumb. We ain't dumb. And we don't believe your bullshit of Dr. Martha Hart came up with this on Christmas Eve. Fuck that. Well, the tournament's back. Now that the winners are getting title shots, maybe, it's a bigger deal. But we'll see how it all does go. But yeah, I don't think most, if anybody, believe that bullshit. So, excited for the tournament. Tony usually books good tournaments, or pretty good tournaments. So I'm excited to see who's in the tournament. I'm excited to see who's going to be, making it to the finals and this and that, and how it all goes down and this whatnot. So yeah. John, not losing my voice at all. Not losing my voice at all. But with that, before we get to our main event, I want to tell you that this podcast is sponsored by the new book by Zach Hayden, Stunning: The Wrestling Artistry of Steve Austin. And with that, take a look at the book right here.
The latest from Hybrid Shoot, the company that brought you Shamrock and Way of the Blade. A look at the biggest star in wrestling history through a different lens. as a one-of-a-kind artist. Includes more than 100 drawings by the legendary K. Thor Jensen. Available at Amazon or wherever books are sold.
With that, the book is available on Amazon. A link will be in the description if you guys want to go check that out and get it yourself. Then we go to our main event. Anarchy in the Arena is the Elite. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the Young Bucks, Kazuchika Okada, the Continental Champion, and Jack Perry. They take on the team of Team AEW, Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, and FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. Again, it's Anarchy in the Arena. A lot of bullshit and a lot of shit going on. So if I miss something, well, there's too much at once going on for the first half of this match. Granted, I will say they calmed down a little bit and kind of started condensing spots. So it wasn't like there's a spot going on over here, but then camera cut's cutting over here and we missed something over here and there's that and boo to boo. So Justin Roberts announces the upcoming match. And he says that the Elite were just about, actually, when the Elite were about to finish their entrances, they were attacked by Danielson and FTR. Allen's music then plays. Darby comes out wearing a mask because his nose is, I guess, still messed up. And his music just keeps playing. Dum, 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 however his music goes. Anyways. And so Darby's music plays. And they just start the match. And they're just going and they're going. Matthew finally gets a mic and goes, turn off this crappy music. Instead, play our new entrance theme. So their music plays. Danielson attacks and says, turn this shit off. Play the greatest song in the history of wrestling. And they play the final countdown. And the crowd goes nuts. Because it's the final countdown. Return of Remix Jones as Taz is singing along. The final countdown. So Matthew and Harwood, they pair off and they go their way. Okada and Danielson, they pair off, they go their way. Darby and Perry, they pair off and go their way. Nicholas and Wheeler, they pair off and go their way. And I shit you not, Dax is fighting Matthew. And he throws Matthew over the barricade. And when he goes to climb over the barricade, the camera is looking at Dax from behind. And I said, when the fuck did Ishii get here? And then he turns around and I go, oh, that's just Dax. Never mind. I literally swear to God, shit you not, I thought from behind Dax Harwood was fucking Tomohiro Ishii. I'll pull up this image on the screen. I shit you not, I thought this was Tomohiro Ishii. I got another image, not too long later. Let me pull this up on the screen. I want your guys' opinion on this. They eventually start fighting off into the concourse area. But look at this. Look at this. I literally thought this was Ishii. Look at it. He's got the same kind of gear where he's got the big, waistband. And he's got the longer pants or whatever. But the first time I saw him from, the knees up. And so I just see, from here up from behind. And I go, when the fuck did Ishii enter this match? No, not Ishii. It's freaking Dax Harwood. Anyways, they all pair off. They go do their thing. They're all fighting and brawling and wrestling and doing whatnot. Harwood smashed some beers and a trash can over Matthew while Allen flew off the balcony onto a pile of guys with a coffin drop, which the camera missed. Visual of Bryan Danielson standing tall in the crowd as they hit it's the final countdown. It's quite the sight to be seen. Matthew then screamed at the cameraman to cut the music. This is going to cost you $200,000 every time it plays. Basically saying that this song costs too much to license. I like that. I like that a lot. He said they're on a budget for God's sake. The music then stops. Perry and Allen then fight out of the arena while everyone else fights around the ringside area, including Okada wielding a Rainmaker Drive sign. He goes, Rainmaker Drive! I thought that was funny. He then does the leaping crossbody over the barricade to Danielson in the crowd. Allen is drowning Perry in a bucket of cold water outside. Well, I assume it's cold. I don't know. as they continue into the parking garage while Perry smashes him with a pipe. Back in the arena, the Bucks hit Shatter Machine on Harwood for a 2 as Danielson has to fight off the Bucks, who accidentally hit Okada with the 15%. Danielson then tried a dive onto Okada on the outside, but ate a chair shot in midair. We cut to the outside where we see a bus that's all painted black, but it's a scapegoat across the top, and it crashes into a pile of just junk. And the cameraman quickly runs up. He looks, and Jack is just laying there. He's like out of it. Like he hit his head on the steering wheel or whatever. We don't know. He had a seatbelt on, so that's smart. And Excalibur's like, "Where's Darby? Where is Darby Allin?" Back in the ring, Nicholas is dropped with a spike driver on the apron as Matthews suffered a powerplex, leaving Okada to hold his own against Harwood and Wheeler FTR. There's a chair shot from the chair shot earlier on. Danielson is bleeding as is Harwood as well. Okada then faked a Rainmaker pose and flipped off the crowd. He was like, fuck you. He then hit Wheeler with a picture-perfect drop kick and a tombstone. Allin then stumbled down the aisle. Excuse me. And we're to believe that he's back from being hit by a bus. And I go, okay. Well, this man was really hit by a bus for real, but I doubt it was like that. But whatever. Cool. They played back to real life shit. Okada goes right after the ankle. Allin fights back with the code red for a 2 as the Bucks trip him up and hit a double powerbomb through chairs. Bucks then drag Allin up the ramp and told them, raise the thing. They raise up the thing. They put him on their elevator and they say, lower it. And Darby falls down the elevator shaft. Danielson then makes the save as it's going. He's going at it alone. Nicholas then sends him off the stage. Matthew smacks him into a giant poker chip before they hit the TK driver off the stage onto the poker chip. FTR then fighting over there. Nicholas then sent them into the LED boards on the stage. Wheeler then sets up a table, but Okada appears and hits a DDT, sets up Wheeler, and Nicholas and Okada hit a double dive through the tables off FTR. Jack Perry then once more appears, soaked, walking through gorilla position, and grabs Tony Khan. The camera then cuts away really quickly. Allin then appears on the stage with his flamethrower. Right as they do, Perry walks out with Tony and he throws Tony down. Allin then lights the legs of Jack Perry on fire. Tony Khan then stumbles, rolls down the ramp, gets up, and runs away. He runs up the side of the ramp and out to the back. So that's all we got of Tony Khan in this whole thing. So the Bucks show up immediately and put the fire out on Jack's legs. And I saw people going, I really put him on fire, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you never caught yourself on fire before? Where was the tweet that I was referencing here? Hold on. So someone tweeted out. Where was it? Hold on. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Give me 1 second. So somebody tweets out, Jack Perry was lit on fire. This is legit one of the craziest sights I've ever seen. And I'm like, you've never been lit on fire before? Like, okay. I guess we had to make our own fun growing up in the mountains of California. I've been lit on fire before. Couple times. Never on purpose. But it's like I caught my arm on fire once. Shinned all my face hair off once. It happens. I'll tell you a story really quickly. We were out in the lake. We were camping at the lake. And one friend tries to start a fire. Doesn't know how to light the fire. So I said, hey, watch out. Let me do it. So as I go to grab the clicker to light the fire, the lighter, we got one of those long lighter deals. Another friend, unbeknownst to me, was over here dousing it in freaking lighter fluid. So me, take the long stick lighter, take a piece of cardboard, and I light the end of the cardboard. So I'm going to just place, because I'd already stacked all the wood and everything and the extra cardboard and kindling properly. So I light this piece of cardboard on fire, and I'm going to place it right on top. Well, I didn't know this man put about a quarter of a freaking thing of, what's it called? Quarter of a thing lighter fluid on this fire pit. And so when I get even close, I don't even touch any of the wood or anything. I just get close to it and it, goof, fireball right in my face. All my hair's singed off. All the hair on this arm is singed off. And it hurt. I was burning all night. Hey, what you do. Then there's another time we were playing who could jump through the fire the fastest. We had this big ass bonfire. This we were really like 15. The first one I told you about happened like a year and a half, 2 years ago. The other one about 15. We summertime and whatnot. No, actually all year round, really. We'd like these big ass bonfires in our backyard. Right? We had like 2 acres. So we'd like this big ass bonfire. And then what we would do is we'd run through it. Literally run, jump over the fire. Sometimes you jump through the fire just to see who gives up first, who quits first. Well, I was one of the ones that quit about third or fourth because I jumped through it one time, trip a little, my leg goes right down in the fire. I look down, my shoe is on fire going up my leg, and they all start throwing dirt on me and put it out. But yeah, you never accidentally put yourself on fire trying to have some fun. It's what us country folk got to do. We got nothing better to do because there's nothing to do up in the mountains. We ain't got no movie theater. We ain't got no mall to go to. Anywho, back to this match. So Jack Perry's on fire. The Bucks put him out with fire extinguishers. And Allen is taken back to the ring by the Bucks. His mask is taken off and placed over a trash can. Nicholas then missed a 450. Okada then missed a Rainmaker. Allen then hit a low blow and a coffin drop, but the Bucks saved the pin. The Bucks then call for a hook to be lowered from the ceiling. And so they hog-tie the legs of Darby. Basically, they want to hang him from the ceiling, which they eventually do. FTR does make the save with the Shatter Machine on Nicholas, but Okada broke the pin, that is. Right as Harwood was about to hit a pile driver on Okada, Matthew swung a chair in his face, and it exploded. Similarly to when, and I think it was to Moxley, he hit the super kick, and the shoe exploded in Moxley's face. And I'm like, fuck! That is not a fun spot to look. Like, that does not look like a fun spot to take. The explosion going off of your face. Meanwhile, Okada put a thumbtack sleeve on, as he wanted to go for like a thumbtack-assisted Rainmaker on Wheeler, and he hit it. Okada then brought out some of the Bucks' new Reebok shoes, which also had thumbtacks on them as well. Bucks gave those shoes away after the show. They were doing the post-show media scrum, and they're like, who wants one of these shoes? And one guy, I do. And so they're like, you can have the shoe. So he walks up, grabs it. They gave it to one of the media guys. Nick then goes, you didn't get something tonight, I don't think, whatever. And he hands it to somebody else off screen. So they gave the shoes away to the media. Very similar to when media members were all running up, getting the pickles from MJF that one time. Anyways, Allen is eventually raised up. So he's hanging above the ring, just swinging. Danielson rolls back in the ring as Matthew accidentally struck his brother with a super kick with attacks as Danielson got a shoe and leveled the Bucks. There's yes kicks by Danielson, who stomped out the Bucks and then hit a Busaku knee with a chair for a 2. Okada makes the save. Allen has been hanging upside down for like 5 minutes at this point as the crowd is chanting, please help Darby. Please help Darby. But no one actually helps Darby. Commentary said that they're fearing for their jobs as far as production letting Darby down. They feel like if they try to let Darby down, well, the Young Bucks may fire them. Which, that was a cool little reference there to be like, why doesn't someone just, whoever raised him up, lower him back down? Anyways, Okada hits Rainmaker. The Bucks hit the EVB trigger, and Perry reappears, hits the charging knee, and pins Danielson. Pick up the victory as the Elite thank the crowd, then barely stand tall, holding Perry up on their shoulders as the show goes off the air. So that is how the show ends, with the Elite standing tall, defeating Team AEW. So I'm glad that the Elite won. I thought this was the right move because it was too early to end this now. Team AEW can't win yet. The Elite have to go a little more crazy, I guess you could say. But here's the thing. I felt like there wasn't really stakes on this. Like, what is really the issue here with the Elite versus Team AEW? The Elite want to run the company, But it's not like Team AEW needs to be here to save the company. Team AEW doesn't need to be here to save the company from dying if the Elite actually take over. Like, I don't know. Because we've seen the Elite in charge for, 3-4 weeks now? And it's vastly been basically the same show. We've barely seen their influence. So it's like, what is the stakes here? What are the stakes here? What is the big controversy of the Bucks running the show? You know what I mean? Granted, they gave Christian a world title match. They just gave it to him. They brought back Jack Perry. Okay. But I just don't see the big picture here. It's not like with the Bucks in charge, the whole dynamic has changed. Things have been different with Tony Khan gone. They told us Tony Khan is still in charge and running the show, but just from Jacksonville. So what? I don't get the stakes. I don't see what the big overarching problem here is on why they needed a Team AEW, just to stand up for Tony Khan. He's like, we need Team AEW to stand up for our locker room to show that we're not going to take their whatever, you know. And it's just like, okay, but it's not like the show has been that much different with them in charge, with Tony away. And so when the show is not vastly different, it shows us that they're in charge, just running the same show, just doing the same stuff that Tony Khan would have done. And then we're here listening to Tony Schiavone. Well, I just got word from Tony Khan. Tony Khan just sent me a text message with this information. So it's like, no, Tony is still running the show. Tony may be hurt, but he's working from Jacksonville. So the Bucks being here and being in charge, what does that really mean? We don't know. So I'm glad that the Elite won. So hopefully they can show us and tell us what that means. Because it's like, if they were really that fearful of the Bucks taking over and running this company into the ground or turning this into their own playground for fun or whatever it's going to be, Tony ain't going to be out there with Martha Hart during the pre-show going, hey, everybody, we got an announcement. The tournament is back. Like, no. He's going to not want to be around. He's going to not want to be right there out in plain sight for the Bucks and the Elite to come attack. And then there's the other question. Why didn't the Bucks and the Elite come attack? Well, they have too much respect for Dr. Martha Hart to not ruin that segment. I just feel like if they attack Tony once, why are we seeing Tony again and they're not automatically going after him, going, oh, Tony, you're back? You brought Darby to the arena last week? Well, fuck you, Tony. And they attack Tony again. Granted, they grabbed Tony and brought him into the match for a whole 45 seconds. But I just don't understand the stakes of why we need Team AEW versus the Elite. What is Team AEW really saving the company from? When, and I know I'm broken record, I'll say this one last time, when the Young Bucks being in charge haven't really done anything that makes the show feel different, that makes the show feel like, oh, they're in charge, not Tony Khan. So that's just my one gripe with all of this, is there's plot holes that are too gaping. But with that, I want to say, overall, I enjoyed the show. I really liked the show. Thought it was a good show. And I thought that it was one of the better AEW pay-per-views that I've seen. Again, super my opinion. You can say that maybe Dynasty was better. You can say maybe Revolution was better. Revolution was a really good show, I will say. But I think this overall, like Revolution maybe had better matches. But I think overall, this was the better show. Like of an overall show. But with that, let's get this poll up on Twitch really fast. What did you think of Double or Nothing? Oop. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. As we wait for you guys to vote in that poll, if you are watching on Twitch, we're going to go check the other polls. We'll refresh all of them. Let's go here. Let's go threads. Let's go here. All right, if your threads poll, 60% liked the show, 40% thought it was just all right. There's the Twitch poll, no, Twitter poll, I mean. 47% liked the show, 47% thought it was just all right, and 4% didn't like it. Looking at the YouTube community poll, 65% liked the show, 22% thought it was just all right, and 13% didn't like it. From the comments here, one says meh, one says the show was awesome. This says great to see MJF back. First says we don't get it here in Australia, so can't vote. Why don't you get it in Australia? Can't watch the show in Australia? Pay-per-view? Can't bootleg it on our website? I don't know. This person said one of the weaker Double or Nothings. I don't know about that. Now, it wasn't anything close to the first Double or Nothing, and maybe I'm super biased because I was there live in person. I got that damn Cody versus Dustin match and the debut of Moxley, but still, as far as the live poll does go, 64% liked the show, 29% thought it was just all right, and 8% didn't like it. And finally, the Twitch poll, everybody that voted thought it was just all right. With that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Also, I forgot the match times. Deanna versus Thunder Rosa, 10:15. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass versus the Cage of Agony, 11:45. Will Ospreay and Roderick Strong, 17:40. Unified World Tag Team Championships, Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle, 12:12. Time of Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb, 15 minutes flat. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta, 13:55. Jericho versus Hook and Shibata, 12:40. Moxley versus Takeshita, 17:20. Copeland versus Malachi, 20:20. Mercedes versus Willow in 18 minutes flat. Swerve versus Cage went 24:50. And let me refresh this. There's not a time yet on the main event. Main event went 29:55, almost a 30-minute match. With that, guys, we'll be back live tomorrow night following Monday Night Raw. So have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.